The off-season in the Barclays Women's Super. Reaching 192 Barclays Women's Super League appearances today, equaling the current record held by Sophie Ingle. The one change sees Kirsty Hansen start. And for Spurs, well, it's a new look Tottenham Hotspur this season without Celine Bisset and Grace Clinton, who are such a big part of last season's success. Robert Villahamn has been known to slowly introduce new players, but Grant, Oroth and Rasso, as they did last week, all start. Two captains, Molly Bartrip and Rachel Daly. And those two will be locking horns all the way through this match, no doubt. Fair to say there was disappointment for Aston Villa last season, especially after what we saw from them the season before. There were injuries to contend with and perhaps some players who didn't quite reach the level that we saw from them previously. This season, though, they have done some pretty good business over the course of the summer and managed to keep hold of plenty of good experience as well. They could well be a force. Spurs, of course, brilliant in the last campaign, especially given that they were in a relegation battle the season before. Two teams looking to push on towards the top three to challenge for those Champions League spots. Let's see what they're up to. Aston Villa against Tottenham Hotspur is underway in the Barclays Women's Super League at Villa Park. Well, last week in their game against Crystal Palace, Spurs started ever so quickly. They didn't give Crystal Palace any room whatsoever whenever they had the ball, especially in the early stages of that match. They were pressing and pressing. Whether or not it's the same approach here remains to be seen. Took Aston Villa a while to adapt against Chelsea, as perhaps you would have imagined, but once they were into the game, well, they really ran them close. There was one really good chance in that match for Missy Kearns. Aston Villa are a new force with their new boss, Robert DePauw, in charge. They have some defending to do here And it's good cover work by Lucy Parker, who missed a fair chunk of last season with an ankle injury. Aston Villa will be delighted to have her back. And here is one of their new signings. Chastity Grant is making the run, and she is well looked after by the recovering Claire Grant. One of the new signings for Tottenham Hotspur, who manages to prevent the cross. She can't stop the corner. And it's the first corner kick of the game. It goes the way of the home team here. Aston Villa's delivery sent in towards Parker, who'd made the run towards the front post. She made a pretty big leap, but she was just unable to get there. It was a nice delivery. And there will be another ball here for Spurs to deal with. And Becky Spencer is able to get there. And she will very quickly launch away and put Spurs on the attack. Rasso, who was excellent last week, leading the charge. Back towards Oroth, who has joined the club over the summer from Real Madrid. Nilden had taken up a fairly good position. She was unable to get there. Makes the team today despite a fairly big knock last week. Amanda Nilden came away with a black eye that was on social media that didn't look all that nice, but she remains. Big player for Spurs in the second half of last season, joined on a permanent basis from Juventus during the summer months. Thomas, who was really impressive last week against Chelsea, feeding the ball on towards Hansen, who is back in the lineup here for Aston Villa. And D'Angelo, the new goalkeeper, with a clearance away. And it's neatly worked here through the phases for Aston Villa, and Dali can sprint out towards the right. They have really good numbers up inside the penalty area too. Daly was one of those, the pass was behind her, and Ash Neville is able to make the clearance. Very positive signs in the early stages though from Aston Villa here. A neat interception on this occasion though by Thomas. And Spurs have it back and will look to start a move of their own. Promising signs though in the early stages that this one could live up to the billing. You never quite know when you've got two managers looking to play almost exactly the same style of football. Paula Thomas, Spanish international, showed us last week that she loves to get forward on this left-hand side. Finding an option here, and it's Missy Kearns who arrives and quickly moves ball across field towards Grant. Again, it's that quick breakaway from Aston Villa. The cross doesn't come to too much, but they are providing plenty of threat. Jordan Nobbs scored the winner in this fixture the last time these two sides met, lifting one in, looking for Dali, and unable to connect with a teammate. Chastity Grant has been busy. She won it back fairly swiftly, and Aston Villa are looking to maintain this momentum. They are forced back though towards their goalkeeper D'Angelo. Deep ball over the head of Nilden. Grant, again the target here, waits for the overlapping run. Here comes Dali. And it took the sliding challenge from Sumanen to turn away. It will be another Aston Villa corner though. Plenty of pressure being heaped on here in the early stages. And And the ball being held on the head before the delivery would suggest this is something they've been working on. Missy Bokens is very quickly dealt with, though, by Naz, who is able to deflect the ball away and out for a throw-in here. And Naz is there again, and she can get there before Nobbs can. And Oroth, who is so tidy in possession, as we saw last week against Crystal Palace, is able to bring the ball away. Aston Villa attacking again. Here is Rachel Daly. Superbly done by Aston Villa's number 9, but she is in an offside position. How about this for a finish, though? Well, if there is any question over whether or not she still has the same hunger now that she has retired from international football, that finish would suggest that the fire still burns pretty brightly for Rachel Daly, as you would imagine. Here is Neville. And now Grant. And the Australian international makes the decision to go back, and Neville makes a decision to burst over the halfway line. Good running and a fine pass, and Rasso may be able to get in behind the Aston Villa defence. Well, it looked as though she was about to do just that. And then a fine recovery. Well, how about this for energy? Aston Villa straight up to the other end, looking to cause Spurs some trouble. And Dali is stopped in her tracks by another sliding challenge from Suminen. Blistering pace to the start of this match between Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. Missy Bokens feeds it through. Here is Grant now trying to get beyond Naz. And she can't on this occasion. The ball is delivered in. And Spencer clutches hold and takes control. And Oroth rather bravely decides to take on Daly. Rasso in towards Spence. Martha Thomas scored a hat-trick in this game earlier on in last season. Was on a fine goal-scoring run as she came into this match, dropping deeper as Spurs tried to get hold of possession because Aston Villa have been dominant so far. Neville wanted the give and go, the ball never returns. Nilden feeds around the corner. Naz unable to get there. Well looked after by Noel Moritz. Was a moment of hesitation there from Patton. Former Arsenal defender able to roll the ball away, and she will chip in the direction of Chastity Grant. And she won't get there. Plenty of purpose about Aston Villa in the opening stages here. Now they'll try their luck on the left, and Thomas is able to burst and feed around the corner where Hansen waits. Hansen's delivery into the box was just where Daly wanted it to. The effort, though, is straight at the Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper, Becky Spencer. Neville opens up the line of attack in the central space. It's a move she's tried a few times in this game. A nice combination. She won't get there this time, though. The ball is out of play. Rasso's pass back in her direction didn't quite make it. Here's Hansen. Has the chance to run at Bartrip. And Bartrip anticipated the next move and stepped across and made the challenge. Well, Missy Kearns representing a new style for Aston Villa in terms of recruitment. We saw a big recruitment strategy implemented by Aston Villa when they brought in the likes of Nobbs and Daly and Darley. This time a move perhaps for energy. There is a running theme. Grant, Missy Kearns, and then the substitute Katie Robinson, all providing that spark that perhaps Aston Villa felt that they needed. And both Missy Kearns and Katie Robinson will be very eager indeed to make sure that they are considered for the European Championships next summer. And that will be the reason, I'm sure, for making the move to Aston Villa. Regular game time and a chance to impress. Nilden's pass away, comfortably intercepted. Naz is after it. Patton can poke on. And now Nobbs sprays the pass on her record equaling day. And here they come, Aston Villa. And it's Missy Kearns looking to unleash. And Drew Spence was able to do just about enough to take the ball away. Noel Moritz with a cross that's deflected, and then Drew Spence drops the shoulder and comes away with the ball and finds Oroth, who in turn is able to work it wide, and Spurs will find some calm here in a match that has been fairly frantic so far. That has been the approach from Aston Villa. That's it, Oroth. And now Neville. Off goes Rasso. Her delivery is deflected off of the toes of Parker and into the path here of D'Angelo. And the Canadian international can roll the ball away into the path of Jordan Nobbs. Just sitting at the base of that Aston Villa midfield and starting the moves. Never too far away from Missy Kearns. You can see the Spurs are trying to block off the pathway to those two. Naz will lead the press. She won't get to the ball though, and Darley comes away with it. Look at the room here for Missy Kearns. She sprays the pass right into the path of Thomas. Nobbs will try on the opposite side. Darley looking for Grant. Darley heads towards the byline. She's run out of room here. We are used to seeing her in deeper roles for Aston Villa. Has played in more advanced positions. Certainly since being with Carla Ward, was often used in a deeper midfield role. Being used this season so far by Robert DePauw on both sides. Was often on the left and has started this game right up on occasion alongside Rachel Daly. Here comes the pressure on Neville, and she's happy to shift it back in the direction of Becky Spencer. Nilden's won it, Spence is there. Rasso drifting in field away from that right wing position that she's taken up for most of this game. And she's come away with the ball rather fortuitously, and here comes Spence. Play will continue here, and Spence battling wins it after Rasso couldn't make any progress. Now Neville will deliver in with pace, but she delivers it a touch too close to those in Aston Villa shirts. It was Nobbs who was able to make the clearance. Now it's Suominen. Spence with the touch, and Neville will get another go to deliver the ball in, and this time it's too close to the keeper, D'Angelo. A good gather from her, and very quickly Aston Villa look to break away. Aston Villa forced to play it long up towards Daly, and it's a move that works. Daly shifts wide. Thomas is there looking for the give and go, and off she goes here into Spurs penalty area. Flashed the ball in with real pace too. It nearly fell for Daly, does fall here for Nobbs. The whistle has already gone though. Well, both teams have certainly made lots of changes in terms of personnel over the summer. There are changes in style and approach for Aston Villa under their new coach. And with so many changes, you shouldn't necessarily expect instant results. There will be moments, and there are moments, where both teams look as though they are not quite comfortable, not fully rehearsed. That will certainly come. Nobbs was trying to make the run and find some space in that midfield area. Again, it's a long ball away by Patton. This one intercepted by Rasso. And Nobbs has to come back to win it in the midfield, working hard so far to keep Spurs at bay. Well, last week they racked up the chances against Crystal Palace. Fair to say Aston Villa are providing a sterner test. Bartrip finds the angle for Rasso, who felt that she was fouled. The referee here was of a different opinion. Wonderful return for Heli Rasso to the Barclays Women's Super League with an individual strike last week, the dribble, and then wonderful composure to find the corner. Not too much in an attacking sense from Spurs just yet, but they were the team last week that had the highest expected goals. 26 shots on target in total against Crystal Palace, 16 of those on target. Neville. Heads back in the direction of Bartrip. And Sumanen has moved into this right-hand side of the defence, and that allows Neville to make a forward run. Neville looking to head on her way. Does drive towards Aston Villa's penalty area. It's Ash Neville for Spurs. Can't open up the angle for the shot. Works it wide. The delivery again. Too close to D'Angelo. Here is Naz. Oros works the angle, and here is the shot from Rasso, and it's an excellent block. And then Spence goes down under the challenge, and Tottenham Hotspur have a penalty. Well, this is a move that comes out of nothing here for Spurs. Oroth with a brilliant ball. Rasso in space. Her shot on goal was superbly cleared away, but it's this challenge here from Paula Thomas that leads to the chance from the spot for Spurs to take the lead in this game. It's Sumanen for Tottenham Hotspur, and she dispatches, and Spurs lead here at Villa Park. The Finnish international finding the corner. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
The goal scorer for Tottenham Hotspur, number 25, Elena Sumanen.
Well, it's fair to say there has been some pressure at the other ends, although Becky Spencer hasn't been troubled all that much. And it only takes one breakaway. And Spurs are ahead, and now Aston Villa must chase. And they will chase straight away. And Thomas, who conceded the penalty, was trying to get the wrong side there of Ash Neville. Spurs have recovered the ball and moved on here towards Rasso. How will the goal impact the game? Certainly seems to have given the Spurs attack some confidence. Thomas is bursting clear, trying to bundle her way through. She won't get past Parker, though. And the move breaks down, and Aston Villa have a throw. Well, Paula Thomas really impressed last week against Chelsea, a big summer recruit for Aston Villa. The late challenge, though, leading to the penalty, and it could well be a game-changing moment here. How do Aston Villa react? Darley looking to attack, looking for Daly with the ball. Well covered by the challenge. Super work by Bartrip to get there. Anticipated that ever so well, and so too did Claire Grant. And Darley's delivery is also turned away by Grant, who is there in the middle. Tottenham are inviting pressure here. Nilden has flicked the ball away. She can't find Spence, and it's picked up by Nobbs. Now here is Darley with room to feed it through in the direction of Hansen. Back to Darley. And now Hansen will chip in, and it will be gathered up by Becky Spencer, who will come to claim. Aston Villa have had lots of good possession in very good areas. Haven't been racking up the chances, though, as perhaps they would like. That's a fairly wild pass to send the ball out of play. Wasn't really anywhere close to Ash Neville. Daly comes across and is happy to go all the way back here. Just allows Aston Villa the opportunity to open up some space. All of the Spurs players were in shape in and around their penalty area. Off goes Daly, she delivers and overcooks it. That goes out of play and out for a goal kick. Missy Kearns poking on, and it's tidied up in the end by Sumanen, although that wasn't the pass that Grant really wanted at the back. The Australian international is able to get there. Did play in the World Cup semi-final against England and had a busy summer as well at the Olympics with Australia. Lucky moment for Parker, nearly lost the ball. Able to recover, able to get it back in Aston Villa possession. Had a real swagger about them at the start of the game. That has evaporated slightly. And Bartrip took a tumble there, and that may have been an awkward fall. 2 thumbs up though for Claire Grant, would suggest that she is okay to continue for now. Wasn't necessarily the pass that she wanted. Hansen picks up, she dances through and makes her way into the box. Couldn't work the angle to really test Becky Spencer. And in the end, the shot was straight at the Spurs keeper. Drew Spence. Had plenty to say in this game. That burst that led to the penalty, the turning point in the first half. It's really interesting because last week Spurs certainly weren't so measured against Crystal Palace. They really hounded them for the ball, giving Aston Villa a lot more respect here, sitting in shape. Nobbs bursting through, and there is room on the right for Daly to come forward here. Daly's cross comes in low, and Neville spotted that Thomas was free, and it was a well-timed interception. She got there before the Spanish international could unleash a shot on goal. And Aston Villa will have to try and start another move here. It was a really nice combination of passes there. The move started by Nobbs, and she's worked it wide again here. Out towards Daly. Nobbs has room to play the ball through. And it's a delivery that's testing. Certainly had Becky Spencer pedalling across goal with speed. Spencer's clearance away, and it's Nobbs again. Having a really good game in there for Aston Villa. That's a careless pass given away by Missy Kearns, and Spurs are going for goal here, an ambitious hit that doesn't find the target. Much to the relief of Missy Kearns, a miss here by Martha Thomas. Here comes Sumanen. Has the pace and power, carries the ball in the direction of Spence, and it's shifted quickly wide and has fallen kindly here for Naz. Well, Patton came searching, and Moritz is there, the Swiss international, linking up here with Kenza Dali. Dali's cut back into the box towards Hansen, and now Grant. And Spurs are able to clear away to safety, momentarily. Missy Kearns. And then Thomas, who has managed to feed it around the corner here. There's a deflection on that. Hansen won't quite get there to keep in play, but Aston Villa do have the throw-in here, which will be taken by Thomas. Slick passing here from Spurs. Naz, who had such a superb season last season, trying to thread it through. She'll be another who will be this season looking to impress with the Euros in the summer in mind. Won her first cap last season and also scored in the FA Cup semi-final to take the match up with Leicester to extra time. Something of a breakthrough season for her. Hasn't had too many moments in this game, Jess Naz, and neither have many of the Spurs attackers, where they have been running at the Aston Villa defence at speed, and I don't know if that's by design, or whether that's the strength of Aston Villa in defence. I think that horn might need some oil. Sounds a bit squeaky. Well, D'Angelo had seen enough of that. Her clearance onto the head of Neville. Spence is chasing and won't be able to keep the ball in play. Well, given that we have two coaches here who are fairly open in their love for attacking football, it hasn't really been the blockbuster that perhaps we were expecting. It has been cagier and a lot more tactical than that. Just the 3 shots on target in the game, and one of those came from a penalty. Gives you an indication But it hasn't perhaps been that kind of full throttle match that maybe we thought this might be between Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. Chance to break away here for Thomas. Quick give and go, and the burst away, and she'll play the early pass up towards Rachel Daly, and there is an interception by Sumanen, and the whistle blown here by the referee Elliot Bell, because there was a collision, and it's maybe a surprise that the whistle didn't go earlier, because it's a head collision. It was the momentum of Thomas as she was breaking away, and she has just caught Martha Thomas. And this was the incident here. Just the arm from Thomas that was enough to bring Martha Thomas down. Back underway here, and Spurs have the ball with Becky Spencer. Grant's pass, and it wasn't the one she was intending, but it has dropped here for Oroth, and Spurs all of a sudden going through the phases and going up through the gears. And it's delivered in by Rasso, punched away by D'Angelo, and hooked on its way by the ever reliable Jordan Nobbs. Just a quick flash, a quick taster of what Spurs can do, but it's something we've seen rarely in this first half. Oh, that was a late challenge, and that will be a free kick. Just over 5 minutes to go until the half-time whistle. Noel Moritz said that there was plenty of disappointment within the Aston Villa camp after the result against Chelsea. They felt they could have and should have done a lot more. I think they will feel fairly similar here in this first half. Certainly doesn't feel as though Aston Villa should be behind on the balance of play. Spencer looking for the flick on. Thomas looks to be okay after that collision earlier, was unable to get there. Naz chasing here and won't get there ahead of Patton. And she goes back to D'Angelo. And that was fairly high risk. Late move to make the pass away. Aston Villa are breaking though, and this looks promising for them. Thomas joining the attack, waiting for the overlap provided by Darley. The pass didn't have enough on it though, and Neville intercepts perfectly, and then she manages to get back, but she's given the ball away. Goes flying into Hansen. Hansen comes away with the ball, and Daly trying to get there ahead of Grant, and Grant did just about enough here to stop Rachel Daly. Bartrip, long ball away, looking for Rasso, can't get there ahead of Nobbs. Fighting hard to try and get Aston Villa back into this game. And in moments like this is what you need. You need leaders, you need those players who have that kind of spirit. Maritz is looking for an option, and the best option is backwards at the moment for Aston Villa. They don't want to lose a ball here. Important moments, important times just before the half-time break. Parker, well, she was looking for the run of Thomas. She gave her the direction to make the run, but there was certainly too much on the ball. Thomas launching, that's a wonderful ball through. Missy Beaucairn's trying to use some skill, but she can't squeeze between the two Spurs players in the end. An excellent recovery by Neville, and at the other end, Thomas gets the ball caught under her feet, but she has managed to free Rasso. And Rasso can't find a teammate. It's gathered up by D'Angelo. The move breaks down. Aston Villa can turn away, and we'll look for this equalising goal before we get to half-time. Here is Grant with an opportunity to run at Neildon. Unable to go around the outside. Does win a corner kick, though, for Aston Villa here. In towards the front post is where the ball is sent. Oroth is there waiting to clear away. Only as far as Nobbs. And it's away by Neville, who has had an excellent first half. Well placed to make that header away. Hansen now trying to evade the challenge of Rasso. And that was a fairly nasty collision with the Aston Villa winger. Well, the good news for Aston Villa is that Hansen is up. What can Dali do from here? Lifts in, looking for the flick, but it's a Spurs head to send the ball away. A minimum of 1 minute to be added at the end of this first half. Aston Villa attacking again. Daly won't get there. Spence gets a second chance to clear the ball away. And Neville's header on towards Naz should give Spurs the chance to bring themselves that bit closer to half-time, just trying to manage themselves through. Well, there we go, the whistle for half-time. The two sides are divided by just the one goal that came from the spots. Evelina Summanen with the goal. That means at half-time it's Aston Villa 0. Tottenham Hotspur 1. Rachel Daly gets us started here. Aston Villa hoping to not start the season with back-to-back defeats. And D'Angelo with a clearance away. Hansen took a knock at the end of the first half. Okay to come back out for the second, running freely, couldn't get beyond Oroth. And the new Spurs midfielder happy to go back towards Becky Spencer, who in truth didn't really have too much to do in the first half. Suminen with a pass that's intercepted by Hansen, who's demanding it. She's after it and looking to deliver here, and her cross sent in the direction of Rachel Daly is intercepted by the head of Molly Bartrip. Aston Villa will send in another delivery. This time Hunt is able to nod away. More Aston Villa pressure. And this time the delivery is a bit too close to Becky Spencer. And she grabs hold. Molly Bartrip is the latest player in the game to look a bit awkward. Well, the whistle blown, an Aston Villa free kick. Foul on Hansen. The Aston Villa players will make their move as the ball comes in. It's Patton's header, flicked back into a dangerous area here. And Spurs didn't deal with it, but they have got there this time. Patton has it back though. Well, rather messy back there for Spurs. Eventually Suminen with the vital touch to send the ball away out of the penalty area and out for a throw-in here. Chastity Grant trying to turn. And not given the chance to do that, not the decision that she felt that she was about to get either. Spurs are chasing, hoping to get there. Parker got there first. Lovely flick around the corner here. And now Hansen, who's been bright so far in the second half. Spence there to destabilise, stopped any momentum. Thomas onto Hansen. A collision on the far side. The referee happy for play to continue here, and Neville will get the ball away. Spence will attempt to flick on. Here comes the burst from Rasso. Oh, she's well watched by the sliding Lucy Parker. And Kearns can spread play towards Darley. Aston Villa looking to start another attack here. Now Grant, back in the direction of Nobbs. Nobbs in towards Daly. And her header heading towards goal but sent wide. A sign of more promising times perhaps for Aston Villa here in the second half. Well, she certainly wasn't as prolific last season as in the season before, where she won the Golden Boot. Nobbs has intercepted the ball here. Missy Bokerns has the chance to go for goal, and her ball into the box is picked up by Daly. Always a difficult one to direct goalwards. And she is unable to find the target on this occasion. Not the clearance away that perhaps Spurs were hoping for. Much the same as the first half, really. Aston Villa having the better chances at the start of the second. That might be about to change, though, as Rasso gets onto the ball. Olof is there again. Nicely recycled by Drew Spence, who is happy to go back here towards Hunt. And the Australian will work it wide towards her new partner at the back, Molly Bartrip. Suominen. And there was no room to turn for Martha Thomas, but Suominen has it back, and Spurs are attacking again. And here is Rasso. Nice interception by Patton. Now Neville. Well, Neville felt that she was fouled. The assistant on the far side took a look and then signalled for a goal kick. That's a lovely turn. And all of a sudden, Aston Villa with Hansen are breaking towards Spurs penalty area. Darley, wide she goes. Grant there waiting. She can lift it goalwards. And she comes ever so close here to grabbing an Aston Villa equaliser. Well, Spurs are making a change, and it will be Beth England who will come on here. And she will replace Jess Naz.
Substitution for Tottenham Hotspur. Replacing number 7, Jessica.
Well, there were plenty of instructions from Robert Villaharm. Ball just about makes it through here towards Spence. England has come on and pulls away towards the left-hand side. And Olof won't get to that one. And Aston Villa have it back. They are winning the battle in the middle. Hansen seeing more and more of the ball in this slightly withdrawn role that she's taken up in the second half. And away she goes into a wider position to win a corner. Now forward come the Aston Villa defenders here, Maritz and Patton making their way into the box. Parker arriving. Parker makes the run in towards the front post. It goes into the middle. And it's just about deflected away. Well, Robert DePaul said after the Chelsea match last week that his new Aston Villa team maybe weren't as clinical as perhaps he would have liked. In this match, I don't think they're creating enough clear-cut opportunities to really trouble Tottenham here. That has to be the challenge over the final half an hour or so. 33 minutes of the game to go here for Aston Villa to get themselves back level with Spurs. Neville waited for the perfect moment to play the pass. Oh, making a really good run, but unable to get there. And now Nobbs will look for Chastity Grant to make the burst away. Former Ajax winger, feeding the ball in field. And Sumanen stopping Dali in her tracks as she tried to make some progress. Not too long though before Aston Villa have it back. Hansen wide, out towards Thomas, who is there waiting. She lifts one in. And Spurs are able to clear for now. Off into England. Proper touch on the ball for her. Beth England, a player who's had such a big impact since arriving with Tottenham Hotspur. Almost single-handedly saved them from relegation the season before last. And without doubt, Spurs would really like an extra goal here to make things a bit more comfortable. Neatly worked here. Sumanen trying to burst, but Patton will get there first. Well, Spurs are happy for Aston Villa to chase. Last week they were zipping the ball around. This is a new side here to Tottenham Hotspur that we're seeing. They've lost it. And now here is Nobbs. Good pressure by Beth England. Patton, though, scrambled the ball clear. Sumanen's pass finding Spence. Trying to skip the sliding challenge. Parker got to the ball, though. And comes away with it for Aston Villa. Here's Dali. And Chastity Grant. Good defending by Nilden. Stops the cross coming into the box. Aston Villa's corner comes all the way through the 6-yard box for a chance. Moritz with the opportunity to go for goal. And Spurs are able to tidy up. It's Spence who's there. She was looking for the free kick, no whistle. And Spurs take the rather risky option of deciding to pass away from inside their penalty area. And that looks all rather painful as Neville headed the ball back. And Hansen goes down in the middle of what was a fairly hefty challenge. It was Martha Thomas who came racing in. Well, the bounce made things pretty awkward here for Neville, but then in came Martha Thomas and, well, she ran straight into the face of Kirsty Hansen in the end. And the good news for Aston Villa is that she is okay. And Rachel Daly is asking the question, why was that not a penalty? Beth England has called a team meeting here on the pitch. Clearance away by Spencer, gives the ball back to Aston Villa, but Daly was coming back from an offside position and didn't want to get involved, allowed the ball to roll away. Oroth is in a tough position here. She had to for company. Nealden's throw. Looking for England. Oroth can't get beyond Nobbs. And Hansen is clipped. And Neville gets a quick word from the referee, but Aston Villa are pretty eager to get things going quickly. Spurs have it back. That's a nice ball around the corner. And Grant was offside. Darley's turn and pass, and it's a good pass as well. And Grant's cutback is picked up here by Oroth. And she is so good with the ball at her feet, she manages to turn away when it looked as though she was about to lose it. Well, Aston Villa have been preparing these changes for some time, and here they come. Missy Bokens is the first to go, to be replaced by Staniforth. And Ken Zadali also makes way for new signing Katie Robinson. And Kirsty Hansen also off of the pitch. And Adriana Leon comes on in her place.
20 Kirsty Hansen. Will you please welcome number 5 Lucy Sally, 11 Katie Robinson, and number 19 Nina Leon.
Becky Spencer needs some attention here. And that means we will get a break in play. And the players are given the chance to come to the side of the field. Well, Spurs will be pretty happy, I'm sure, with the result so far. Fair to say they've been second best to Aston Villa in the second half. We've just made those 3 changes. Will be interesting to see how the substitutions from Robert DePaul impact things here in the final stages. Now, Robert Villaham had something extra to say there to Drew Spence. Fair to say that the Spurs coach had studied the Villa match with Chelsea fairly intently. He was speaking about his analysis after that game and thought that it was interesting that he was coming up against such a tactical coach, and that is the way now in the Barclays Women's Super League. It's such a tactical game. No doubt changes incoming with the 3 new personnel on the field. Neville makes about 10 yards. And now Spence, who won the penalty in the first half, trying to turn, trying to draw a challenge that was unfair from Aston Villa. And the first proper touch on the ball here for Robinson. Aston Villa's new signing, who has arrived from Brighton. Pressure provided by Robinson, and the clearance away by Nilden, picked up here by Patton. Well, I think we are starting to see, with the chasing pack, let's call them that, in the Barclays Women's Super League, there are a fair few teams who are fairly similar in standard. Liverpool, Aston Villa, Spurs all fall into that category. We're certainly seeing that here. Aston Villa and Spurs very well matched. Could be a nervy final 20 minutes if you are a fan of either here. Aston Villa have made good progress up into Spurs penalty area. Sumina doesn't get the touch that she was hoping for. Not the best clearance away, and the best that Daly can do is send the header wide. Well, it was a wonderful burst clear by Aston Villa, And not the best clearance away here by Spurs. 2 chances to get the ball away from the danger zone. They didn't take those, and they were very nearly made to pay. Nildum was pulled back, and the referee tried to play an advantage. In the end, a whistle. England tussling for it and losing out. Hooked up into the air by Staniforth. And it's another free kick. There's not really a momentum to the game. Spurs on the break here. England leading the way. And she is unable to find a teammate in the middle. Sumanen tries her luck and fires over the top of the bar. Well, she already has one in the game. Had a bit of confidence as a result. Didn't have the accuracy, though, from distance. Noelle Moritz chipping one forward. One to chase here for Robinson. She's lost out in the foot race, though, with Nildum. And Spencer not taking any risks at all with the lead here for Spurs so slender. England manages to get there just about ahead of Parker, and she's been well watched again by the Aston Villa centre-back, pursuing her all the way back into her own half, and now Leon is snapping in. Plenty of fight being shown here by Aston Villa. Nildum's touch, and Spence went down under the challenge. And Spurs will get the free kick. Not that Chastity Grant from Aston Villa agreed with the decision. Well, the referee calls for a yellow card here for Sumanen for time wasting. Neville's flick in the direction of Thomas. And it's turned away again by Aston Villa. Oroth looking for England. The pass doesn't connect. Patton is able to turn it back in the direction of her goalkeeper. Lovely ball. Hunt sends it wide. Spurs can try to attack. Rasso can't quite squeeze it through. And Nildum in with a challenge to win it back. And now Spurs will look to break at pace. And the pressure was on, but the experienced Noelle Moritz didn't feel any pressure whatsoever. More changes here for Spurs. It's the end of the game for Hayley Rasso, not able to impact as she was last week. And it will be Anna Chiki who comes on in her place. And Olga Artonen is about to be introduced as well. And she comes on for Drew Spence, who's had a big impact on this game, was the player who was fouled in the first half. That led to the penalty. That's the goal here. That, as it stands, means Spurs are heading for another 3 points, back-to-back wins. Artonen scored an absolute beauty of a goal last week against Crystal Palace. Moves up into the Spurs midfield here. Spurs have given the ball away, and this opens up the chance here for Aston Villa, and it's a chance they take. Equalising goal, Adriana Leon. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Well, Spurs will be kicking themselves that they have given Aston Villa the chance to do this, but what a wonderful finish from the Canadian international.
The goal scorer for Aston Villa, number 19, Adriana Leon.
Well, Becky Spencer has gone down here. After the goal from Leon, she was at full stretch. And the physio team have work to do. What an impact, though, from the substitutes. Leon brought on to see if she could be a game changer, and that has been the case here. Robert Villahan watching on with intent. And Aston Villa preparing here for another change. Ebony Salmon is about to come on. Well, it's Grant who is removed. And Ebony Salmon, a real fan favourite here, has 10 minutes here to be the hero. No doubt he'll be very happy indeed. Robert DePauw's team have been pushing and pushing without necessarily creating that clear-cut chance. But their moment arrived and they took it. And they found that cutting edge and they have themselves level. Well, given the length of time over the treatment here for Becky Spencer, this would suggest that she might not be okay to continue. Well, this was the goal, a wonderful finish, but watch Spencer here. Well, from that angle, hard to tell whether or not there was maybe a connection there with Molly Bartrip. For now, she will carry on. And we can get back underway with this game. It's now all square. And now you wonder how the approach changes from Tottenham Hotspur. Leon again, looking to instigate another Aston Villa attacking move and winning a free kick. Well, Aston Villa were looking for a player to come off of the bench and make an impact, and she is certainly doing that, Adriana Leon. Quickly taken here and nodded away. The substitute Salmon ran out of room in the end. Spurs goal kick. Well, I think we have been waiting all the way through this game, given the styles of the two teams who are under coaches who love attacking football, waiting for this game to ignite, and it might just do that now in the final 7 minutes with the Aston Villa equaliser. No whistle from the referee. Nobbs is allowed to continue. Was really congested in that middle space, and so quite sensibly she made the decision to head backwards. Nicely worked here by Aston Villa. Orr's clearance, there's a chance, thunder goalwards. And there to grab hold is Becky Spencer. Well, there was some power behind this. Great grab from the goalkeeper, who'd had that injury just moments ago. Not a shot I'm sure she welcomes. England spinning, and Oroth joining the attack, and any opportunity to break was quickly stopped by the sliding challenge of Staniforth, who was there. Well, there is a feeling that the momentum is with Aston Villa. Do they chase, though? That's the decision to make. Robinson gifted the ball by Spurs, and Leon had the chance to break away. Was dealt with by Bartrip. Again, it's careless from Spurs. And again, it's Leon. Plenty forward inside the area, waiting for the cross to arrive. Well, Bartrip was there as well for Spurs. Now Matilda Wimberg is about to come into the action in response perhaps to the Aston Villa fight back. I'm sure that Oroth, over the course of the season, will be a top acquisition for Spurs. Right now in need of some fresh legs, and that will be provided here by Matilda Wimberg. 3 minutes to go here. Will we experience a winner? We might do, it's Rachel Daly. Some turnaround for Aston Villa here. They were one behind, and now thanks to Rachel Daly, they lead by 2-1. Did Becky Spencer have to come for it? Rachel Daly with the awareness, and her first goal of the season, and it could be a huge one here for Aston Villa.
Goal scorer for Aston Villa, number 9, Rachel Daly.
Well, did she make the right decision in not coming off of the field? Becky Spencer was injured earlier. Some turnaround here in the second half from Aston Villa. Their leader, Rachel Daly, may just have snatched them all 3 points here. Spurs fighting back. I think we're going to get plenty of additional time here, that's for sure. We've had goals and injuries, and that will all add to the clock. Here is Parker. Now England, Spurs have it. Sumanen threads it through, promising signs here, but it's gobbled up by D'Angelo. Arrived just when Aston Villa needed her. Well, the Aston Villa change will have to wait. Nobbs, crossfield ball, that goes all the way through. And England chasing will not get to that one. A minimum of 9 minutes to be added to the end of the 90. Still time for Spurs. Aston Villa now in a very different position. They are the team resisting and holding Spurs off. And now listen to the applause. Rachel Daly, scorer of what could prove to be the winning goal here for Aston Villa, is about to make way.
Please welcome number 25, Mary Taylor.
Captain till the last. Off she comes here to be replaced by Mary Taylor. Well, it looked as though Robert De Paul was heading for back-to-back defeats in the Barclays Women's Super League. No coach wants to start like that. How quickly things can change. Sumanen lost one in. And it has dropped kindly here for Spurs, but Aston Villa have so many back there. And at this stage, anywhere will do, and it's sent into the corner. And Salmon has pace to burn, and off she goes here, and sensibly takes it down towards the corner flag. And she will waste some vital seconds here. Crunching challenge from Neville, and there was a bit of afters as well. Right in front of the referee, the game will continue. Tottenham is penalised here by the referee for trying to get to the ball unfairly. And Aston Villa will not be in a rush to take this. And when they do take it, they are happy to send it into the corner. Hunt's long ball, looking for the flick. And England is unable to provide it, and Spurs will have to try again. 4 minutes to go, just over. Barclays speeding away, angles the ball in, again looking for Beth England. Picked up here by Sumanen. Vinberg. Bartrip again, trying to turn provider, and looks as though she may have overcooked it. They've done superbly! Tottenham Hotspur get the ball back into the box, and when she is lurking, you know what can happen. Beth England, late in the game, may just have rescued a point here for Spurs. Well, this looked as though it was heading out. What a wonderful ball from Nilden, and the stooping header from Beth England, who got there bravely ahead of the goalkeeper D'Angelo. Well, that could be enough here for Spurs. So cruel for Aston Villa. Well, real credit has to go to Nilden for pursuing the pass and getting the ball into the box. The accuracy to find the head of England, and it was instinctive from a striker who has scored so many important goals in the Barclays Women's Super League. And this is a really important one here for Spurs to keep them unbeaten, perhaps, for the season so far. This game has really come to life in the second half. Are we over? Are we done? Or is there more to come? Aston Villa don't look as though they're done. They are chasing the winner here. Nobbs scored the winner against Spurs in this fixture last season. Last time these two sides met. Aston Villa have a corner with 2 minutes to go. Staniforth looking to turn the ball onto a teammate, unable to find one. Nobbs. In it goes. Looking for the flick. And the header carries through towards Becky Spencer, who still doesn't look entirely comfortable, it's fair to say. Able to make the clearance. Up towards England. And now the chase, and Vinberg will not get there. There was some confusion though. And the ball deflects away for a Tottenham Hotspur corner. Nervous glance towards the clock, I'm sure, from Aston Villa fans. There is time here. Sumanen sends in the corner, and it was sent to the front post where England was racing. And she's not looking entirely comfortable here. Well, Beth England, who only a moment ago heroically scored the equalising goal, grimaces in pain here. Well, Tottenham Hotspur fans, I'm sure, will be watching on nervously and hoping that these are just precautionary measures here being taken by Beth England. I think the initial concern was that it was knee, but it seems to be more shin than knee. Hard to tell. Well, England will come to the side of the field here. And Spurs will continue with one fewer player on the field for now. One final launch. Maybe not the most sensible of moves. Neville does brilliantly and then gives the ball away. And Barclays had seen enough of that and sends it up into the stands here at Villa Park. Aston Villa now will take their turn to look for the winning goal. Turned into quite the match. Here comes the corner for Aston Villa. Big header away by Spurs. The ball is still pinging around here, and Spurs still don't get it clear. Eventually sent away from the penalty area. Now Thomas, she can send one in. Frantically, Spurs get the ball away. And this game comes to a close. Well, it took a while to come to life, but when it did, what a game. A brilliant end to this match. It ends all square. Both sides certainly had their chances to find a winner. But Aston Villa 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2 is the final scoreline. Let's have a look back on the highlights of this match.